You will see somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 advertisements today. You won't remember almost any of them, but that was never the point. Because the ads that work on you aren't the ones you notice. They're the ones that slip past the part of your brain you think is in charge, and talk directly to a part you didn't even know was listening. Here's the uncomfortable truth that neuroscience keeps confirming. You believe you decide what to buy with logic, reasons, comparisons. But the science says your purchases are driven by emotion first, and the reasons come later to justify a decision your brain already made. Advertisers have known this for decades, and they've built an entire science around it. By the end of this, you'll see the exact levers they pull, and why knowing about them is the only thing that loosens their grip. Let's start with the most counterintuitive finding in all of marketing science. You are not the rational shopper you think you are. For most of history, we assumed buying was a logical act. You need a thing, you compare options, you pick the best one. But when neuroscientists put people in brain scanners and watched them make choices, that story fell apart. The emotional centers of the brain fired first, before the logical regions even got involved. There's a famous clue to how deep this goes. A neuroscientist named Antonio Damasio studied people who had damage to the emotional part of their brain. Their logic was perfectly intact. They could reason, calculate, analyze, and yet they became almost unable to make even simple decisions, like choosing what to eat. Without emotion, choice itself broke down. Sit with what that means. Emotion isn't the enemy of good decisions, it's the engine of all decisions. And that is the single most valuable thing an advertiser can know. Because if feeling comes first and reasoning comes second, then you don't win a customer with facts. You win them with a feeling, and let them invent the facts themselves. This is why the ad that changes your behavior almost never feels like an argument. It feels like a moment, a mood, a small tug somewhere beneath your thoughts. The argument was never aimed at the part of you that argues back. So if ads work through emotion, how exactly do they get in? Researchers find they use 3 doors, and most great ads use all 3 at once. The first door is attention. Your brain is drowning in those thousands of ads, so it ruthlessly filters almost all of them out as noise. To get through, an ad has to break a pattern, surprise you, shock you, make you laugh, show you something your brain didn't predict. Novelty and contrast snap the filter open, and for a half second, you're actually looking. The second door is emotion, and this is the big one. Ads are engineered to trigger a feeling, because feeling is what gets stored. When an ad makes you feel something, a small almond-shaped region called the amygdala activates and tags that moment as important. That's why you can't recall a single fact from a car commercial, but you remember exactly how it made you feel. Free, powerful, safe. They didn't sell you a car. They sold you a feeling and parked a logo next to it. The third door is the strangest: other people. Your brain has special cells called mirror neurons that fire when you watch someone else experience something, as if it were happening to you. So when an ad shows a person laughing with friends, belonging, being loved, your brain rehearses that feeling from the inside. You don't just see their joy. For a moment you borrow it. And your brain quietly links the borrowed joy to whatever they're holding. Attention, emotion, and the borrowed feelings of others. 3 doors, and you rarely notice a single one of them open. But the deepest trick isn't getting in. It's what they do once they're inside, because the most powerful ads don't just sell you a product. They first sell you a problem you didn't know you had. Think about how this works. An ad shows you a life slightly better than yours. Whiter teeth, a calmer morning, friends who clearly like each other more than yours do. And in the gap between that polished image and your ordinary reality, a feeling appears. A small ache. The quiet sense that something is missing. You didn't walk in with that ache. The ad manufactured it. It opened a hole, and then, with perfect timing, offered the exact thing shaped to fill it. This is the engine behind almost all modern advertising. Create the lack, sell the cure. And because the brain hates an open loop, that little ache nags at you long after the ad is gone. There's a name for the modern version of this: the fear of missing out. Ads stage a party your life wasn't invited to and let your own brain do the cruel work of comparison. And here's the part that should make you angry, just a little. Studies show people now see thousands of these tiny manufactured lacks every single day. Thousands of small whispers that you are not quite enough, yet. The product was never really the point. The wanting was the point. Because a satisfied person buys once. A person who always feels a little incomplete buys forever. So if ads slip past your logic, hijack your emotions, and manufacture the very lack they promise to fill, is there any defense? The research suggests there is one. And it's not willpower, it's awareness. The whole machine depends on staying invisible. An ad works best when you don't realize it's working, when the feeling seems to come from inside you, not from the screen. So the single most powerful thing you can do is simply name it as it happens. The next time you feel a sudden urge to buy something, right after seeing it, try one quiet question. What feeling did this just create in me? And did I have it 10 seconds ago? If the wanting wasn't there before the ad built it. And the moment you can see that the ache was manufactured, it loses most of its power. You can still want the thing, but now you're the one deciding, not the hole in your chest. The second defense is to add time. The entire system runs on urgency. Buy now, limited time, don't miss out. Because urgency is how they keep your slow, thinking brain from waking up. So you do the opposite. You wait, a day, a week, and you'll find that most manufactured wants quietly evaporate when you refuse to feed them on schedule. You can't stop seeing ads. There are too many and they're too good. But you can stop being invisible to yourself while you watch them. And that single shift changes who's actually holding the strings. So here's where this leaves you. Every day, thousands of the smartest psychological tools ever built are aimed at one target: the gap between how you feel and how you wish you felt. It isn't a fair fight, and it was never meant to be. But none of it works on a person who can feel the tug and name it out loud. The ache they sell you was never the truth about your life. It was just the most profitable thing for you to believe. And the day you stop borrowing other people's feelings to measure your own is the day the whole machine starts working a little less well on you. If you learned something today with us, like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. But before you go, I want to know, what's the last thing you bought because of an ad? And did you actually need it? Leave a comment down below.